Welcome everybody to Go Virtual. Thank you San Diego County Office of Ed for putting on this opportunity for teachers. My name is Allison Frenzel and I am a programs consultant at the California Department of Education in the High School Innovations and Initiatives Office. But before that, I had the pleasure of working with Marie Gannister at Windsor High School for 15 years and Amy Lands at Windsor Middle School. So I am honored to be the one to get to introduce these women, these incredible powerhouse women who have made just amazing programs happen for students. So Amy teaches Introduction to Culinary, Advanced Culinary at Windsor Middle School for 7th and 8th grade students in a farm to table class. And she established the program in partnership with Marie Gannister at the Vineyard Academy, which is a California Partnership Academy and a Lighthouse Academy for the California Department of Ed. So in the initial round of the Middle School Foundations grant, these two got together and had this brilliant idea of building a fully articulated program that allows students to understand all aspects of the hospitality industry and farm to table, and the farm to table aspect specifically. Oh, thank you. I'm like, okay, I'm going to multitask and manage the waiting room. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to these women. Marie teaches Culinary 1 and 2 and is actually in the process of building a new MC3 Construction Trades Academy at Windsor High School, which has been quite a feat in itself. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and shut my camera off and turn it over to them.
Hello, I'm Marie Gannister, and I am a high school teacher in Windsor, California. We're in Sonoma County. We are blessed to be in a beautiful location with a focus area and a pathway that dovetails into the industry of our community. So, Vineyard Academy history. The California Partnership Academy is a program out of the California Department of Ed that is funded to create a small learning environment within a larger school. And our high school is lucky enough to have 4 partnership academies. And we started ours in 2003, and it has grown a lot. We are wall to wall. We are so packed. We're always impacted. We have probably 168 kids, I think, this year. In the 11-12, in the 9-10 version, we have 165 kids. And now in the middle school version, Amy will tell us how many there are.
We have 89 students this year.
Excellent. So we, our goal is to create a family style education where the students share the same English, history, and business teacher and culinary arts instructor. So the Sonoma State University from the CSU system looked at our program, and in 2009, they gave us the Jack London Award for Academic Excellence, which, because it came from educators from a school of education, felt very significant to me. We've gotten other accolades over the years, but the Jack London really hit home. When an educator honors educators, that's important to me. The California Department of Ed also has recognized our dedication to our program and our commitment to our students and gave us the Lighthouse designation. At about that time, that was when the 9-10, the 9th grade was added. It's not funded by the grant, but the 9th grade path was added. So we're fully 9 through 12 at Windsor High. A couple years passed and we were able to apply for a middle school's academies grant. We were in the first round, and it happened to dovetail at a time when our school had CTIG funds, and they were able to build a completely brand new commercial kitchen in the middle school environment. And it is so much better than the kitchen I'm sitting in. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I've been in this kitchen for 19 years. So when I look at Amy's kitchen, I'm just super jealous. But the Middle School Foundations grant allowed us to bring Amy into the fold, and we'll talk about that further on how that has impacted what we do here at the high school, dovetailing down, rowing our boat towards the middle school as they swim towards us. In 2019, the California Department of Ed gave us the Distinguished Academy Award, and so we are a lighthouse that's distinguished. So we're just super cool, I guess. In 2019, also in the fall, the middle school culinary program opened. At this point, we are fully virtual, of course, in our education system. We have 6 teachers in the 11-12 classes, 5 teachers in the 9-10, and 1 teacher at the middle school. And I think our focus, the name of our presentation is Creating Success. And I think that the way that we have chosen to create success is to have fun with each other and to do things outside of sitting in a planning room. We enjoy each other's company, all of us in Vineyard Academy, and we try to make it a point to do things outside of the classroom. Next slide. One of the first things, if you're thinking about going toward obtaining a middle school academy grant, one of the things you need to do is gather support. And so you could start that now. The grant won't come up again until next summer, and will be due again. The round just recently closed, was October 7th, it closed. When it comes up again, finding the support now would be great. So that requires school board, the district office, the superintendent's secretary is very critical in this process. The superintendent, all of your site principals at the middle school and at the high school, the assistant principals, the counselors in both locations, having all those people on board and supportive of your ideas is really important. And then reaching out to the community at large, looking at local businesses in your industry sector, pulling in those service groups, the Rotary, the Oddfellows, the Kiwanis, the Lions Club, getting them on board and in support of this concept that you might have.
Okay, so we want to know what brings you here. We are going to put you in breakout rooms, but before we do that, we want to learn a little bit about you. We want to know, do you have an established partnership from your middle to high school? Are you interested in creating one? And then what are you hoping to learn today? That way we can really focus on the things that brought you here. So on your screen is a Zoom poll. Go ahead and choose the options that are most pertinent to you. And that will help kind of direct us in what we're doing today. Oh, good. I can see your answers coming in. I have no established partnerships at this point. Yes, we're interested. Oh, good. The financial opportunities. That's always, how are we going to fund these programs? While you're filling that out, I'll tell you that when I approached Marie about joining her on the team, she tried to dissuade me in every way about the funding and how hard it was. And she obviously didn't scare me because here I am.
She came into my classroom at the end of a long week and asked me about this while I was teaching. And I was like, no, you don't want to do this. This is
perfect
crazy.
Timing.
This is crazy work. You've got to shop, you've got to schlep, you've got to spend your own money and wait 3 weeks to get reimbursed. If then, don't do it. You're no, no, no. And then 2 years later, here she is.
Here we are. All right, so one of you does have an established partnership. That's awesome. Many of you are interested in it, and the most desired thing, we will definitely talk about financial opportunities. So that's great to know. What we're going to do now is put you into a breakout room. We want you to introduce yourself. We'll give you about 3 minutes to do so. Please share your name, school, location, title, and then what CTE sector do you belong to, so we can get to know each other a little bit better. Let me get your breakout rooms going. I see 11 participants, but I imagine that includes us. So give me 1 second.
I just let in another, so that might make it even.
Okay. We're gonna do 2 to 3 participants per room. And there you go. Go ahead and accept your invite when you get it. Okay. All right, so you had an opportunity to talk with one another, introduce yourself, find out what other people are doing in their educational worlds. And so now we're going to talk about how to foster a professional relationship. The first thing you need to do is to search for programs at the middle school level or create a program to partner with. In our situation, there was no program, and so that needed to be created, or it has to be an existing program or an envisioned program. So basically you're dreaming outside the box to get that partnership at the middle school. Marie?
So we looked at what we could do at the middle school. We toured the school, looked for an empty room we could build this kitchen in. You want to build that bridge between the schools. I know they've always tried that with English, to have the kids doing MLA format at the middle school and at Cali, our local language academy, so that when they come into the high school, they're used to that MLA format. That has failed miserably, but we tried to build the CTE bridge. And so here I am pushing towards the middle school, and Amy did not even know it, but she was going to push toward the high school. And we're looking for that potential partnership and what could be available. So it was a dream, and then it just came together. It all fell into place at the right time. So you want to look, is there a potential for a partnership? Are you a STEM program, and is there a science teacher that has STEM knowledge, engineering background, that's at the middle school that you could reach out to? Look for if anyone has a CTE credential. There's no difference between a CTE credential for the middle school level or the high school. It's just a flat CTE credential. So look for that. You can find that information out from your district. Or find a willing teacher with the experience, motivation, and a desire to acquire that CTE credential, which is what we did in the case of Amy. So Amy has, go ahead.
Yes, so I think the thing I want to say is that I didn't have a CTE credential, so that was something I had to actively pursue. And when you have an individual who's willing to kind of put the work in the forefront, it's an indicator of that's going to be a successful, not only a successful partnership, but a successful program. So, you know, when you're considering bringing this opportunity to a middle school, you really have to find that person who is self-motivated, who understands there's going to be obstacles, and who's willing to say, well, this may not be the easiest route to take, but it's going to be the most route worth taking. And so they don't even need to have a CTE credential if they have the experience. I was just able to go and apply because I had hospitality experience and I qualified for that. And so I think that's really important to remember, is it doesn't need to be someone who's waiting for you. I didn't know they were even searching when they started this, but I stood out as having the experience. And when they approached me, it gained my interest. I was done teaching English, you know, for the last 5 years, and this was exactly what I needed to reinvigorate my love of education. So here are the things that worked for us. As Marie mentioned earlier, and I just mentioned, definitely a willingness to work. This is not easy to start a new program, as you know, and especially CTE. It's so much hands-on, which is what I love about it. But to foster that relationship, you need to make a priority to get to know one another professionally. In our case, we chose to continue that personally. Brainstorm ways to connect your two programs. I'm really clear about what my students need to know to be successful in Marie's program. It also makes me really clear on what my boundaries are of, I want to take them this far and then I want to release them to her. Have a shared vision or dream of what your programs can be. Partner at your planning meetings. In the summertime before this started, we sat with architects, we walked to the campus, we basically dreamed outside of what we currently had to what could be possible. We collaborated on fundraising projects. Marie helped get me off the ground by, we hosted this amazing dinner in the Vineyards, and she gave my program all the money. She sacrificed her time and energy to make sure that I was set off on the right foot. And we attended conferences together, which, as you know, when you're in a real conference, you attend the classes, you learn, you collaborate, and then you go have fun. And so those are the things that have really worked for us. So I'm curious and want you to discuss together what are the professional relationships that you currently have, or maybe that you've had in the past, and what has made it successful? What have you found that makes a successful professional partnership? And you think it's important to connect personally with your colleagues? Or do you like that boundary of, I am at work, this is work, and then we're done? So Marie's more talented at the breakout rooms than I am, and I closed them because there were people in them. So I'm gonna open them back up. You might meet a new friend in there. Oh, I think it opened the same ones, Marie. That's how it worked. Yeah. So I'm gonna open those back up. I think you're in the same group. Nicole, you were in a room by yourself, so I'm going to move you. Other than that, you should be with all the same people. Here you go. Okay, welcome back.
Thank you, guys. We wanted to talk about possible financial opportunities because
it's gonna be a minute, Marie. Not everybody's in here yet.
Okay. I can't see the breakout rooms. So.
I can't either because it's behind the thing, but they're still coming in.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you guys for going into breakout rooms and discussing. We wanted to talk about possible financial opportunities. I think that was what everyone requested. So it's very important to have outside funds if you're going to put on some kind of a program like this. And so we used, we applied for that middle school foundation academy grant, and it gave us the seed money needed to start. The facility was created with CTIG and bond funds. The kitchen, the commercial kitchen that Amy is sitting in right now, but the money to start to buy the smallware and the large pieces and the tech for the room, those came from different sources. And so,
so I want to tell them that it was $50,000. It's not small potatoes. It was a large amount of money that was designated to start this program. So the walls were built in here, the appliances were installed in here, but anything that's not attached to a wall, the MSFA money went to that. And I have 2 years to spend that money to get this room up and running.
When you're opening a kitchen that students are going to be using, you have to buy multiples of everything, of course, just like any science lab. This is no different. And multiples of everything, and things get broken, and yeah, it's a huge amount of money to run a culinary program. Amy has been incredibly creative with creating her own fundraising, and I've been glad to participate. Dinner in the Vineyard was a formal dinner. We had a celebrity chef as our host, and we had a dessert auction that raised a ridiculous amount of money. People were paying like
$8,000, I think.
What's that?
The desserts raised $6,000 alone.
People were paying like $800 for a cheesecake. It was great. Mm-hmm. So a live auction dessert. It's an amazing plan if anybody needs to do that. Amy had a pasta dinner at her school that was it back to school night, Amy?
Yeah, so these programs, before I even started my class, and I knew it would be starting the following year, I created a culinary club, and I invited the students in who were interested, and we trained them for these events. We trained them as servers, we trained them as chefs, we brought in celebrity and local chefs to help prep all of these things. Marie and I partnered, so her high school students did a lot of the cooking and my students did a lot of the serving. The dinner in the Vineyards raised $14,000, the pasta dinner. Smaller scale, it was about $1,500. We also did a catered luncheon for our Sonoma County Superintendent of Education, and they paid for that. And so, you know, I really had to take some of this into my own hands and create my own funding source. And in addition to that, Marie is really great at partnering with local service organizations like Kiwanis, Rotary, Lions, and Oddfellows. She participates in their meetings. She presents when we have local events going on. And then Marie can talk to you about the California Partnership Academy.
So the CPA is through the California Department of Ed. It has its own ed code. So it is, it's actually funded in perpetuity until the budget changes. I like to say it like that. But it is, they're all over the state. There's about 422 right now. And that is an excellent program for schools to have, if you can apply for, if they open it again, when they open it again, to apply for a California Partnership Academy. It's 10, 11, 12.
Sorry.
And we all work together, and we plan. Every teacher in my academy is reading the road right now, because our English teacher is teaching it. And so we're all dropping bombs about the road, and would you like this person on your post-apocalyptic team, and are you a good guy, and that kind of thing, that are references to the road, just to bring kids in and weave all of our curriculum together. Additionally, Amy has done other things to raise funds.
Yeah, so I basically spend one of my prep periods solely on money and where to locate and apply for money. The Sonoma County Community Foundation, you may have a local community foundation that wants to support nonprofits in education. I was granted $10,000 for technology for my classroom, so I was able to purchase 23 iPads that we will be using in the classroom. I applied for a foundation or a grant through the Guy Fieri Foundation. He has a program called Cooking with Kids, so it's really right in line with what I do every day. Rayleigh's is our local grocery store. It's family owned. They support the community. You also may have something like that in your area. I was granted $15,000 to start my garden. I have 2 outdoor garden spaces, a teaching garden with tables where we can cook, and then also a vegetable garden. And then donors choose. The amounts aren't as large, but I needed some worm bins, some compost bins, and was granted those also. So there are a lot of opportunities available, but you really do have to spend the time to search for them and find them. And so what we'd like to do in this final breakout room is brainstorm in your area, what kind of financial opportunities could you search for, or could you look for, or do you know of? And if some of you are in the same area, you may be able to support applying for those. So I'm going to, in the chat, put a link to, this is a Mentimeter. Marie uses this in her classroom. It's a way to gather information, put it together, and be able to brainstorm. If you click the link here, it will take you to a page that looks similar, and you will type in, I think it will look like this. You'll type in what are some places that you could find some money, and then we'll share the final outcome when you come back from your breakout room. So let me put you in your rooms again. This is our last breakout room. And there you go. All right, it looks like our Menti closed mid-Menti. So that's how technology works, right? When you want it to do what you need it to, it doesn't. But we wanted to show you some other, possibilities of things that you can use in your classroom to share information. And so Menti is one that is used regularly at the high school. This page, the supporting documents, when you leave here, will have access to all of this information, including anything highlighted and underlined that have accompanying documents. So if you do start a partnership or you are reaching to the pathway at the middle school, you have these to reference. I know it's always nice to have something to kind of search and look at that has been successful. So Marie, do you want to talk about this?
Well, I just wanted to say that the creation of partnership timeline was where Amy and I sort of went through and detailed everything that we've done since we started working together. And that might be of interest. Also, we've included our actual application for the Middle School Foundations grant. So if you are thinking of applying, you're welcome to read what we wrote, take what we wrote, if we can help in any way. And also, you can get a hold of us and talk to us about this. My contacts are in that middle school application. I can also put them in the chat. Then we've included our course proposals that went before our site council and approved by our school board for all of our courses. So we thought that might be of help to you. All of our courses are A through G elective approved, I believe. Well, all of our courses are.
Yeah, and having the grant application be closed at this time allows you some time to kind of brainstorm. There's no pressure to have something done right now. You can start searching for how can you make this a reality at your school. And then here's the link so that you can kind of keep an eye on when that's going to open. We did include our partnership, basically like how things came together for us. We also included a moat here, which my headphones are in, so if I play it, you won't be able to hear it. But this is a way that we comment on our students' work. If you, don't want to type something out, when also, a lot can be confused in typing in print, whereas a moat allows you to hear your inflection and may come across in the way that you want it to. But it was good for us to go through here and see we've done a lot of stuff in 2 years, which just goes to show that it's possible. And this is kind of the steps that we took to do that.
So our theme of work hard, play hard is what has created success between our two programs. When you're at a conference, go find something that's fun to do. Ride the Ferris wheel, get on the silly merry-go-rounds, go out to dinner, go to the beach, whatever it might be. Do these things, and create a friendship, including to back up your professional relationship. It really will make the difference. And
thank you.
We'll be able to be live at some point. This isn't going to last forever.
Do you guys want to take five minutes and do some questions? All right, sweet. So one thing I want to say, just as a comment and somebody who's known these powerhouse women for a very long time, things that they didn't really, I feel like, toot their own horns about are their incredible industry connections. Like, their advisory board is robust. They are deeply connected to people in the hospitality industry. As somebody who reads middle school foundation grants, I can say that's one of the things that I've seen as a deficit in applications. And their industry partners have enabled them to grow, build support, get funding. So as like a first step, that I think has become a foundational, like a tenet to their programs. And Marie, do you want to, and so I'll just start with the first question. And before I do that, is there a way you guys can share your slide deck link and that document link in the chat here? Or do you want that to be delivered to attendees in a different way? Because that's a question that came into me.
We uploaded it to the
Go Virtual thing?
Yes, we did upload it, so it should be there. And then I'm not sure that within the next 3 minutes we could upload it.
Okay.
My tech whiz dropped out. Oh, here she is.
I got her.
Whiz Amy is.
I got her. So can you tell us, just like, if you could give these folks one tip in terms of how to start forming an advisory, regardless of the industry sector, what would be that tip? What would you say to them?
So I'll think of David Hamelberg, and he's the most energetic human being I've ever known. He is nothing to do with culinary or biz. He does have a business, but he prints. He's a silkscreen printer, basically. But the guy's energy is through the roof, and he's super charismatic. Ask someone like that, hey, would you be an adult that advised me on what I'm doing? Will you look at my curriculum? Will you come and talk to my students? Would you attend one meeting? Here's how we got David. We said, it's just 1 hour. Would you come to one meeting? And then I gave him pastries and we made coffee and then we hooked him and we just reeled him in. And he's been a fantastic asset for the last 12 years for us. So find the most charismatic person, also the busiest person. Find the busiest person you know and ask them to support you. And show them your curriculum and say, this is what I'm teaching. Can you see any holes? Can you advise me on what I should do to make this relevant in the real world? And yeah, pastries, feeding people is always the thing. And we bake our stuff that morning. So it's like hot scones just out of the oven. And yeah, so I think that's my personal. Amy has a whole different level than what I'm dealing with. But go ahead, Amy.
And Amy, you got kicked off. The question was like,
I know.
Well, the question was, your industry connections are far and wide, and a lot of the stuff that you do is really founded in industry, and you use your advisory on a regular basis, and that's a struggle for a lot of programs. So what's the trick or the one hint you would give, or the one tip you would give to the audience in terms of starting and maintaining an advisory?
I think Marie really hit it. I would say, and if she said this before I came on, keeping in connection with your local community. I mean, that really is. And just like Marie said, ask them to commit for 1 hour, bake them some, I mean, in our case, food wins everyone over, but allow them some autonomy within the group, bring their specialty to the table. And when people have some sort of ownership in a program, they're more apt to participate.
Thank you. And yeah, from the California Department of Ed standpoint, like I said, and this is across the board for applications for the facilities grant and for the middle school foundations grant, do not skimp out on your industry letters. Those are so important to your applications when you're applying to CTE for CTE funds. And we see a lot of people lose out on opportunities because they haven't networked with their industry partners. So just that's my one bit of feedback as you seek funding for these programs. So thank you so much for attending, and we appreciate you all being here, and we hope you're enjoying your time, and we look forward to seeing you at the next session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Allison, if they give us their emails, we'll share the slide deck with them.
Yeah, I think it'll be uploaded. I think there's Jewel has everything dialed in.
And I already uploaded it to the website.
Yeah, so Amy's on
it'll be there.
So
I'm on it.
All right, I got to go to the next session. Bye, you guys. Love
Thanks,
you.
Allison.
Good seeing you.
Thank you so much.
Talk soon.
Talk soon.